Welcome back, you guys, to the Girls Lounge with your hosts, Liz and KT. And this week, we are getting into the holiday spirit on the Girls Lounge, and we're going to be looking at some Reddit stories, but family drama holiday edition. So these are going to be interesting. As always, these are some of our favorite episodes to film because I swear some people have some crazy stories to tell. But before we get into all of that, we're going to go ahead and do our little segments and life updates as usual.
So it feels like we literally have not sat down and recorded in so long. That's not the truth, but that's just the way it feels. So I feel like I have a lot to catch you guys up on. So I'm going to try to do it efficiently. So I did see Liz was it last week or no?
I think it was last week. Honestly, when I read that on the outline, I was like, wait, when did I see Kennedy and when did we last record? Because I feel like it's been so long. But I want to say it was last week we met up for a little coffee date.
Yes, so I saw Elizabeth. That was super fun. And that same day, or like around that, no, the day before, I made banana bread, which was really good. It was a huge hit in my house. So I'm hoping to make some more banana bread again. So that was a really good couple of days. And then this past weekend, I had another Louisville Lexington weekend. I don't know why this happens. I just somehow always end up going to those two cities within the same weekend. I went to Louisville. I convinced my dad to take me to Swig. And shout out to my mom for helping me convince him to take me to Swig because he was like, no, but then it finally works. And we just saw my grandparents. We ate dinner with them. So that was good. And then I went to Lexington because I saw Wicked for Good, which I'll talk about later. And then I helped prep some greens for Thanksgiving dinner, which this episode will come out the day before Thanksgiving. And just know I am so happy. We have so many games like Family Feud and stuff, and I'm really excited to play it. And I'm just ready for some good food. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. And oh yeah, on school like always, boo. But I feel like this is like the first time since being in college that I'm not like stressed going into Thanksgiving weekend because I've always had like my finals week right after. But at UK, they like go past Thanksgiving break with finals, which I actually like low key like because I've like gotten ahead, so there's nothing I need to worry about over Thanksgiving break, and I feel good with everything I have to do after Thanksgiving break. So I'm glad that I can like actually enjoy Thanksgiving break without having to worry about studying for finals. And like I said, I've gotten ahead, so there's like no big assignment or anything I have to do. So yeah, I'm just ready to relax, read, eat good food.
And then for me, I feel like I say this all the time where like my weeks blur, but I feel like this past week truly blurred. I feel like the week felt like 2 weeks in and of itself, which is crazy to think about. But in my household, we also are on the banana bread kick. My dad was creating some the other night and he wanted me to make it, but I wasn't feeling it. So I sent him the recipe and I was like, you can do it. And now that he's learned, he's made it like twice this week. And this is perfect because I can go downstairs in the mornings, before I have like a nice like filling breakfast and cut me a little slice and it tastes so good. And it's just like perfect for, I feel like, holiday season, fall season. So love us some banana bread here too. And then my other little thing this past weekend, I met up with with a good friend from study abroad. She was my roommate. So we got to meet up. Hadn't seen her since like September. So it's been a minute, but had a little fun weekend. And it was funny because we had like an early dinner because the place we went to didn't take reservations. So we had like early dinner vibes. And then it was like early enough for it to still be like happy hours at some of the bars. So we went for happy hour, basically got like 2 drinks for the price of one. And it was funny because it was just like us and like these 40-year-olds, like all these like grown people and just us. And then like when we went back to her house, like her roommates were like getting ready, like pre-gaming for the like go out. And we were like, oh, like our night is ending now. We're gonna like wind down, put on pajamas, watch a good movie. Like that was honestly the perfect vibe, the perfect routine for me. And honestly, I feel like happy hour will be seeing me again. I'm gonna convince Kennedy to come with me next time because it's just like perfect, like I feel like girl time without like the crazy pack of like a weekend. And then my other little life update is a job update. Real ones know that back in August, I like applied to some jobs and I was like, if you guys hear from it, like it went somewhere. I was like, well, I mean, at the end of the day, like I would update you guys, but I wasn't transparent with anyone about what it is I applied to. Like the only person I told before this was my mom, and I told her literally when I like had to because I was going to be gone the whole day. So it was like she has to know, you know? And I told my dad the night before. But basically the jobs that I applied to was I started applying for some flight attendant positions with different airlines. I started like seeing it like randomly kind of like videos like on my TikTok, kind of like life vlogs, you know? And then I started seeing more, and then they just kind of like started like I never like went out seeking them, you know? So I kind of took it as a sign. So I was like, okay, you know what? It just so happened like applications were open. So I was like, let me like see how this goes. And I really like really prayed about it. And in the sense of like, I was like, if it's meant to be, like, let it be. And if it's not, like, get it out of my life. I know that there's something out there that like it is for me and it's supposed to be for me. So going into this, I actually had a face-to-face interview where I got flown out to Dallas, and I had the interview. And honestly, like out of any interview I've done in the past, like even for like organizations, I feel like I always have like a sense of nervousness, you know, of like you feel like your heart pounding a bit, like your hands get kind of like clammy and sweaty, you know, just like normal nerves. But I truly felt like so at peace and calm during this interview, which I feel like is so unlike me, especially for something that's like kind of like high stakes, you know, because it was like 50 of us there and everything. And so it wasn't like anything like a formal like face-to-face interview, you know, like a panel, like that kind of vibe is what I thought going into it. But it was mostly like group activities that we did. So I felt like I never did anything that truly like made me stand out compared to everyone, you know, like I didn't like flunk it or anything, but I feel like I didn't do anything like above and beyond, you know? So like it got to a point towards the end where they started like calling us by like our numbers, because we all had like candidate numbers, and they started calling us like kind of like in groups of 10, I want to say. And they were like, okay, like go ahead and like grab your bags and everything. We're gonna go to like a different room in a different part of the building. So I was like, okay, like this is like when the actual like maybe they're gonna do like a group interview set up, you know, something like more like formal interview, you know? And so then it got to where like the room of like I want to say like 50, 60 of us dwindled to there just being 12 of us in the room. And I was kind of like, okay, well, I don't think I got this job. And then it was kind of because also these guys that were like dressed in black kind of walked in, and I was like, okay, so I think this is like the security. And then like the guy who was like kind of like facilitating everything, he was like, oh, okay, like this is one of my bosses. I was like, okay, she's here to tell us like you guys didn't make it to the next part or whatever, you know? That's what I thought. And then they asked one of us to like kind of like volunteer to like read something. I was like, okay, maybe it's like another like little group part or something. And he basically read like the whole like congrats, like this is flight 1 of your journey and everything. And basically it was like, you got the job. You guys, I was like speechless. I feel like I'm still in a state of shock of like, there's no way that this is real, you know? I was like, wow, like this is insane. But yeah, basically, long story short, I got a flight attendant job, you guys, and I did accept it. So now I'm just like waiting for like to get the emails about like drug testing and all that stuff. It is kind of like conditional right now because you have to pass like the training and like all that kind of stuff. But I will keep you guys updated on this journey. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's like, I guess, my final job update for the time being. So yeah, kind of crazy.
Yes, everybody comment congratulations, Elizabeth, on becoming a flight attendant. If she passes, you know, all the conditional stuff, she will be flying for American. So book with American, you guys. My one professor would actually hate that because she has beef with American, but fly American.
Yes, and I'm so excited. So trust you guys. Maybe this will be like my time to become a little content creator, like actually take it seriously. I don't know, because I feel like when I was like looking into it, there wasn't like that much about it, you know, like obviously there was, but there wasn't like a crazy amount. So I don't know, but this is exciting and it does feel very surreal. But trust you guys, the podcast, it's not going anywhere. The podcast has survived time changes, country changes. This is nothing for the podcast.
That part, I know our biggest fan, Kelsey, was concerned. But I'm just speaking out loud. If worst case scenario happened, it would just be a solo podcast. So the podcast would never go anywhere, but it will survive flight attendant. And yeah, and nothing will change over here on our part. But what will change is more interesting flight attendant stories. And if anyone wants to be a flight attendant, we got a list to tell you guys all about it.
No, because prepare you guys, my life updates are gonna actually start having a little something to them.
And yeah, so that's all for our life update. So now we're gonna get into our favorites of the week. And my fave is just simply people who get it, because like trying to communicate with people who don't get it, it's like, ugh, what are we doing here? Like, what is life? So I don't know, that's just very simple. Like, over this week, I just had some conversations with people. I'm just like, you guys are my people because you guys get it. Like, I've always found it sometimes like hard just to always kind of communicate with people because, like, they just don't get it. That's the main thing. And so then when I do find people who get it, it's like, ugh, I like you.
Because when you find those people, you just gotta keep them closer because you can't lose sight of them. But my little favorite of the week is one that I've had in the past, but it is coloring. I am back into my coloring era. I feel like I took a break, and I think I mentioned on here, I was like, I have like these like Halloween pages I want to do. You guys, I didn't color any of my spooky cute pages, and that was like so sad. But this past week I've been doing a lot of like little coloring, especially because I've actually been like binging stuff, which you guys will hear about later, but just putting it up, putting on my TV show, and then just like coloring. It is a perfect vibes, and I feel like it's perfect with like the time change and everything, where it gets like dark earlier, where you don't want to be outside necessarily, but it just kind of gives you something to do instead of like scrolling on your phone. So yeah, love the coloring, and I've kind of been like exploring a little bit with like a white gel pen, and I feel like it kind of spices it up a little bit. But yeah, I'm back in the coloring era.
Yeah, you guys, maybe one day we need to do a post of the pages that me and Liz both color so you guys can just see expectations versus reality. Because the difference in Elizabeth's coloring pages versus mine is, wow, it's giving she's an artist and I am simply a colorer.
Not a colorer. That's such a weird word. But anyways, now we're gonna go ahead and get into our sports corner. And you guys, we have a lot to talk about. So we're gonna be covering the Vegas GP, and then we're gonna be covering our drivers for the upcoming race.
Yes, so first, the whole weekend pissed me off. Like, between the influencers who were there and then just Ferrari and McLaren not having good weekends. It was not a good weekend for your girl, but I love the spectacle of Vegas. I know Beyonce and Jay-Z, I think they were there, and I think that's genuinely like the only celebrities that I actually cared about that were there, that I was also like, oh my god, they're there. But everyone else, I was like, okay, why are you here? And that's a whole other topic for a whole other day. Maybe we can get into that during like the F1 off season when there's not a race to talk about. But so that already made me mad. I love seeing my F1 content creators there. Love that. But yeah, it was just rough. I feel like Lando had a pretty strong weekend, but Oscar, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of kind of conspiracies around his performance, which I know even some drivers have been asked about it. They think it's weird. Like, I know Pierre Gasly said something about it, and Max Verstappen said something about it. And I've seen comments about how people have been like, no, this is how it's always been. Like, this is only Oscar's third year in F1, I'm pretty sure. So like, that's also a factor we need to take in consideration. And I know he's not the best qualifier, but I did like look at his like stats from the last season, and I don't know, I feel like I couldn't confirm or deny that that he just does worse at the later tracks. But I don't know, I just feel like maybe it's just issues with the car, maybe, and just his confidence or something. I'm not sure, you guys, but it was not a good weekend for Oscar. And then following the race, both McLarens were disqualified because of something where the car is actually the same thing that Lewis Hamilton got disqualified for one time this season with like the skid block breach or whatever, because they get their cars tested after. So yeah, that was disappointing. But I'm actually going to go to our F1 post on Instagram, plug our Instagram real quick, go follow to help guide us. But yeah, some good positives though is Sainz. He ended up qualifying P3, which I was very excited about. He was on the front row. He didn't finish in that, but he still finished in the top 10, which was good to see. And Ferrari, like Lewis Hamilton, he literally qualified last. He did get one. He was able to kind of start a position ahead because Yuki got a new power unit, so he started from the pit lane. So Lewis started 19th, and he was able to finish into the points, which I feel like a lot of people kind of like, especially newer F1 fans, and that's me included, we can kind of forget like Lewis is the GOAT. Like, obviously a lot of attention is on Max, but like there's a reason Lewis has won 7 world champions and why Ferrari wants Lewis over Carlos. Like there's a reason, if you know what I mean. And but like he just hasn't been able to show it because Ferrari's car is actually trash right now. So I think that should be celebrated that like Lewis literally fought from last place essentially to end the points in a Ferrari. Like that should not be overshadowed. And then obviously because both McLarens were disqualified, that means the new results were Verstappen P1, Russell P2, Antonelli P3. So it's good that Antonelli got another podium finish. So that's another positive. And one quick little note, I know in turn one, there was some chaos. Max obviously quickly took the lead from Lando. And there was some type of collision that involved Lawson, Piastri, Bortoleto, and Stroll, which caused 2 of them to DNF, which I still couldn't really make out the whole collision. So I don't have any necessarily thoughts about it, but I was sad about the DNF because I had Gabriel Bortoleto as one of my drivers for this race. So that was very sad to see.
No, I think like the biggest thing coming out of this weekend was obviously the like post podium celebration, disqualification with McLaren and everything. That was really crazy because it really like had some effects, you know. It had effects for the overall like points and everything where Max and Oscar are now tied, which is really crazy to think about because, you know, I feel like Max wasn't like necessarily like up there the whole season. So like for him to be like that close now is really crazy to think about how like this one race really like we are seeing the effects of it, and it's going to be really interesting with our like last 2 races that we have coming up and everything. And then I've been seeing a lot of like little clips of who was it? Oh yeah, it was Carlos when he like finished the race, how he was like walking by the cars and kind of like looking at all of them, and people were like he knew like the McLaren was going to get disqualified and everything. I just thought it was like a funny little thing to see like the post race and everything. And then I saw one comment, which obviously we know this isn't true. People were saying like they waited to disqualify the McLarens because like Kimmy, he's not of age, so he wouldn't have been able to drink like the champagne and everything. I thought that was like a little funny thing, and how like even like with all of these like news and everything that we see, still find there is still ways in the F1 community where we make like light of everything.
Yeah, the jokes, I don't know, the jokes following a race are always just so funny to me. Like, y'all are so funny. Like, keep it up because we need it after this weekend. But yeah, Max and Oscar being tied has me scared. I mean Lando has been strong, so I don't foresee him totally like what's the word, like just doing terrible this weekend to like lose his lead. But I'm scared for Oscar. It makes me sad because I've seen like Oscar, like he's had tears in his eyes and stuff. I'm just like, oh my gosh. I don't think he necessarily feels supported by McLaren right now, so that shall be interesting though if Oscar will stay in the future. I mean, I know he's in contract, him and Lando are in contract with McLaren for a couple of years, so we'll see how that goes. And like next year is going to be like all new regulations, different cars, so we'll really see what that looks like for Oscar next year. But I have a feeling Lando is going to win the world championship, hopefully. And I just know Oscar, hopefully they put Oscar in more of like a defensive mode, even though they try to say like, oh, we can't pick favorites, blah blah blah. But I'm like, at this point, like, I don't know, do something so Max can't get up there, please.
Like, let's support both of them equally, you guys. But anyways, this race really had some impacts also for F1 fantasy, you guys. If you can't tell, I am very excited about the results because I didn't think the time would come, you guys, when I truly kind of like caught up to Kennedy low-key. So I'll give you guys my point summary and then Kennedy can give you guys hers. But this race I am at now put me at 229 points total because my drivers, kind of like little summary, I had Carlos and I had George, so I got 18 points from a second place finish, 4 points for another 4th to 10th place finish, and then a finish ahead of teammates, so I got 6 points. So I'm now at 229 points. Now, I know that this could go another way in these upcoming weekends, so I'm not going to like be too excited about it, but I am very happy.
And for me, I have 231 points. I lost 10 points because of Gabriel Bortoleto's DNF, and then my other driver was Liam Lawson, I'm pretty sure, and he just was not there. I did not gain any points from him. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Me and Liz are really close. And the drivers for the next race For me, I had Pierre Gasly and Isaac Hajar, and Elizabeth has Liam Lawson and Alex Albon. So truly, this race will be just how it will be kind of like life changing for the world championship. It is going to be life changing for our F1 fantasy because no telling how our drivers are going to perform in Qatar. Like, we didn't get any like heavy hitters necessarily, so it'll be really interesting to see where we are following.
And you guys, honestly, while Kenny was talking, I was like, what does the winner get? Obviously, bragging rights, but we don't have like an actual prize. So drop down in the comments or wherever you're watching what you think the winner should get, or if it should just be bragging rights. Because, you know, that is like a win in of itself, too.
And yeah, so make sure you tune in next week to hear our thoughts on Qatar. And now we're going to get into pop culture. You know, there's a little bit of things that we can talk about this week, which I'm happy about because I love talking about pop culture. And the first most exciting thing is the Sunrise on the Reaping trailer, or not the trailer, the teaser dropped. And I swear, the internet went wild. I saw it, I almost shed a tear. Like, it is just so good. Joseph Zeta looks chef's kiss as Haymitch, the perfect casting. And I read the book over the summer, and I just like the trailer is like even better than I could have imagined like this adaptation would look like. It's just the casting is perfect for everyone. I'm super excited. And if you watch The Long Walk, one guy in The Long Walk is also in this movie. I'm like, wow, so he's just getting like heartbreaking roles back to back. But I'm just so excited, and I just know he's going to be the white boy of the month whenever this movie comes out. I'm just obsessed. I can't wait for like the official trailer to drop, any press, all that stuff. I will be sad.
No, I'm also very excited, and I haven't read the book yet, so this is my sign to delve into that whole universe because I haven't read like any of the books, but I do want to get into them before the new movie comes out. But from the like what I saw about it and like people who have read the books, like the lighting of the trailer, the teaser, and everything, how it like kind of like plays on what goes on in the book too, you know, how like the lighting is a bit different from like the movies. And then just seeing like also the casting like side by sides of the characters from this movie, and then like obviously the characters that we know and love or hate, you know, just kind of like seeing, I feel like there's some very good similarities between the characters that where you could be like, oh yeah, like this definitely is this person when they were younger. So I'm very, very excited about it. And it's crazy though how like teasers drop basically just like, by the way, you have a year till this comes out, because it literally comes out like at the end of 2026, I'm pretty sure. So we do have a bit to wait, but that just means we're going to be getting fed with the content.
I'm actually shook that they dropped the teaser so early, because I feel like they like just finished rapping not too long ago. I'm like, dang, y'all already working on this? Period. But you know what? The quicker y'all edit it, the quicker it'll be in our hands. Not really because there's already a set date, but that's how I'm going to see it in my mind. And yeah, and next is the Met Gala themed was announced. And I just want to talk about it just a little bit, just to hear mostly Elizabeth's thoughts on it. But the theme is going to be costume art, and from what I saw, it's going to highlight the connection between our bodies and the clothes we wear. So I'm hoping that means we're going to see some like really funky, creative outfits. So no suits, no plain dresses. Like, y'all better come in with the creativity.
No, because that's exactly what I was thinking when I saw the theme of it. How it's like, I feel like they can go so many ways with it, which is also low-key kind of scary, because I feel like we might be seeing some like almost nude outfits, just because like the whole theme is like body. So I feel like some people are gonna go that way, but it'll still be interesting the way that they do it. I really hope that we don't get like too much of like just like transparent like dresses and that kind of thing, and like that's it. Like, let's add a little something, you know, like make it a little different. But like Kennedy, I better not be seeing no like plain black tux that you can wear to a wedding. Like, this is a time for us to switch it up. Even like colors, I feel like there's so many different colors, like bright colors that we could do maybe. So I'm very excited to see the outfits, but at the same time, I am a little scared because I feel like some people, they have a very thin line when it comes to their outfits and showing a little too much.
And we're talking about you, Kim Kardashian.
Exactly who I was thinking of and who I'm scared about, because I feel like her line is non-existent.
And now we're gonna get into what we've been watching. So I'll just go into first what I've watched that me and Elizabeth haven't both watched. And so I watched Wicked for Good, you guys. It was so good. It's just, I know there's a debate. I feel like a lot of people like the first one better, but I was a really big fan of the second one. Not that I think the first part was bad, but like part two, that It had a lot of action, it had all the drama, and it had me shook because I was like, I feel like I remembered a lot of the first part from when I saw the musical too. I like low key forgot like the ending part of part two. So I was like, wait, like it's low key a surprise. And the songs, of course, were so good. And I don't know. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it. I mean, it's amazing. Of course, it was going to be amazing. And Jonathan Bailey just looked excellent. The girls, we lost to the men on that one. And then Dead Poet Society, you guys. I don't even know why I love this movie so much. I mean, I could probably think about it if I really thought about it hard. But this is a movie. I feel like a lot of people know this movie because like it was assigned to them in class. They just talked about it in class, watched the movie in class. But for me, I can't even remember. I randomly watched it my freshman year. It was over winter break before I was going to go back to school soon for the second semester. It was like, I think I saw like a random TikTok about it or a TikTok comment. And then the name just intrigued me. And I was like, oh, I'm going to watch this movie. And then years later, I'm obsessed. And it's basically like this teacher, which is played by Robin Williams, is like this more eccentric teacher at this all boys prep school. And he kind of, just shows them a different way of life. And it's just a very beautiful movie. And I just love the main characters because, like, I feel like, with the male loneliness epidemic, I feel like they don't be knowing what brotherhood is. And like, I feel like this movie is such a good showing of brotherhood and all that type of stuff. And it's just like really sweet. And I just love kind of how like it plays on the message of like, even if you don't think you're creative or this or that, like art can kind of bring that out of you, which I really like. But overall, it's just such a good movie. I've watched it 2 times because it's recently been back on Hulu and Disney Plus. So I've been watching that. So this is your sign to watch it if you haven't, because it is the perfect fall movie. I will say there are some parts of that movie where it's like, I don't know about that in 2025, but overall the movie's really good.
So I'm not gonna lie, Kennedy's been posting about it on her Snapchat story about how like we should watch it and everything. I don't know why I thought that she was talking about the perks of being a wallflower this whole time until she like said the name. I was like, wait, I think I'm thinking of a completely different movie because I haven't seen either movie, but I feel like Kennedy's talked about both movies before, and for some reason I thought she was talking about Perks of Being a Wallflower, but no. Okay, so now I need to watch like both of them, but now I know that there's a difference.
Yes, and I can vouch for the perks of being a wallflower too. I think I actually have that book too. I've seen the movie. I watched it during like COVID times. Really good movie. I remember crying. And again, another book with like good themes, relatable. I love anything coming of age. Like coming of age is my genre. So yeah, watch that movie too if you guys haven't already.
And then for the things I've been watching, these are all things that Kennedy's also been watching. So we're just gonna go back and forth. But first we can talk about Maxton Hall. I know Kennedy finally caught up. So this is like spoilers for episodes 1 through 5, 1 through 6. Yeah, one of those. 1 through 5, I think. But yeah, so you guys, all I know is the ending. The dad is at fault for everything because why that man Loki, he's a good actor because he had me feeling for him like so many times, like the scene where like he's like having a breakdown and the kids are like really confused but also comforting him, and then when it kind of seems like he's talking to I forgot her name, the main girl,
Ruby.
Yes, when he's talking to Ruby, I was like, okay, like he's improved, he's doing better. And then I knew not to trust him, but at the same time, I was like trusting him. And then he does a full 180, and it's all part of his evil, manipulative plan. So yeah, I can't lie, he got to me. But of course, he is to blame for everything that is going to happen. Even I feel like low key, I feel like he's gonna do something to Lydia. Also, I feel. But yeah, you guys, the ending, Lydia. I really, really, really hope that Serial, I think I'm saying his name completely wrong, but him, I hope that he pulls through and he doesn't send the picture to the mean girl. I really hope that he realizes that he does love her and everything because I think he really does. But I fear that he won't, and I fear it's gonna go downhill for Lydia. So I'm really scared for my.
All I know is the dad, you better hope I don't run across him because I will literally drop kick him. I literally hate him so much. And like Elizabeth, like I like felt sorry for him. I was like, wait, are we seeing change? Like he was sobbing. It felt like he was really interested in knowing Ruby. He wasn't being judgmental. And there's like a little connection with like the wife. And then when he was even like acknowledging like Lydia, and like I was like, oh wow, we're making progress. And then we quickly realized that he's a fake, and the show hasn't said this yet, but I 100% believe the dad is behind Ruby losing that scholarship. But karma does its thing, and hopefully her application, whatever the school did, ends up pulling through. But I'm just like, wow. I'm like, oh, all this over a girl? Like, come on now, a little high schooler girl. It's actually insane. Like, why ruin her life? At least, like, pay her money to stay away from James or something. You don't have to go out and ruin her life. And then I'm scared because at the end, we see the principal get a picture on his phone. And I do not think it's the picture of Lydia and the teacher. I think it's the picture of maybe Ruby or something, because I know the dad was looking through James' phone, and he came across that picture of Ruby and James in bed. So my like idea is that maybe he sent that picture out to kind of paint her in a bad light, maybe. I don't know, because when the principal saw that phone or saw the photo, it wasn't like, oh, like I need to look for someone. He was looking straight at Ruby and James. So I'm thinking whatever the principal was sent was about Ruby and James. And I feel like the dad is in connection. So yeah, and then Lydia and her messing with the teacher, and then Cyril or whatever seeing it, and Elaine. I was like, oh yeah. As soon as I saw Cyril, Cyril, whatever, see like the teacher run, I said, oh God, you guys are gonna get caught. Your career is over, Mr. Teacher. And I'm not ready for that because I just know it's gonna happen.
No, because as soon as I saw him there and then I saw the teacher, I was like, it's over. It's wraps for them. But also I feel like I know I've seen a lot of people coming at us, James supporters for like not supporting Jeremiah in the summer I turned pretty, and they're like, he was a cheater too. And I'm like, it is not the same at all, because we have seen James like truly better himself, not only for himself, but for Ruby as well. And I feel like we've really got to see like a full circle moment of like his change and everything, where Ruby kind of like, she gets a little scared about like being with him and everything, and like the consequences that could come about it. And she's like ready to like call it quits, but he like stands his ground. He doesn't run away. And I feel like we really got to see like a little more growth for him. He is not Jeremiah, whoever be comparing him, like no, nothing to do with one another. And then I just realized, you guys, like this upcoming episode is the last episode of season 3. So I don't know why they don't have more episodes or longer episodes, because I feel like there's so much that is left to happen, and there's no way we only have one episode left. Like, why haven't we seen the sister, like the sister, the mom, the aunt, and like any of the Will stuff? Like we got all that stuff in episode 1, and then we haven't seen her again. So it's just kind of crazy that we only have one episode, and there's still so many like loose ends. But trust, we will come again next week with our full thoughts for you guys.
Know that part. Like we have so much. Like the last episode just ended on a dumpster fire, and we still need to put it out, but we only have one episode to do all that. So it's like, ugh. And let's see. I was gonna say something else, but I forgot. But all I know is, do we think Ruby and James are gonna make it out this season? I hope so. I really do hope so. Oh, about the Jeremiah and what's his face comparison. I'm like, I feel like people trying to compare that are like the same people that try to compare not the same people. It's not the same thing. Totally different circumstances. Like it's just like two completely different situations that both men are in, and just Jeremiah. Yeah, I would not compare those two.
And then the other show that we've both been watching is Dancing with the Stars. Now, I know when you guys are listening to this episode, the finale will have happened, but when we're recording, it hasn't happened yet. So just disregard, it might be a little outdated what we have to say. We are so excited for the finale. Obviously we have our favorites like Jordan, Robert, and of course like Elaine's in there, and Dylan. He's not personally like one of my faves, but like he's still there. He made it, accomplishment. You guys, I am so excited for the finale. I started to get all like the clips of like the pros and their partners kind of like making videos for one another and like thanking them for like the season. And I'm like, why can't we split this mirror ball 3 ways? Why can't it just like magically be a tie between all these people? Because I am so excited, and I don't know who to vote for. So I really do think it's gonna come down to the dances in the finale. Obviously like my favorites personally personally are like Jordan, Ezra, not Ezra. Oh, no, I do love Ezra, but like Jordan and Ezra, Robert and Whitney, and then Alice and Val. So excited for all of them, and I don't know who to choose, you guys. I'm at a dilemma.
I will probably still vote for those three because I'm like participation trophy, just like put in my votes. But I'm just listen, why can't everyone win except for Dylan? Like, please, like even though like I really like Elaine, she just not my personal favorite. Like Jordan, Alex, and Robert are my faves. I'm just like, why can't we all just be friends and win? But I'm really nervous. Like, I genuinely cannot think of like who would win. But speaking of the last episode, the semifinals episode, I am shook that Whitney went home. Like when they said like, oh, like the first one of the finale is like 54 years old, blah blah blah. I said, oh my god, Whitney is like definitely going home because I don't know. We could kind of get into this like in another show we're gonna talk about, but a lot of people said like, oh, bad timing for Secret Lives and Mormon Wives to come out, and people believe that she was kind of like hated or off the show in terms of voting, but like low-key, I don't think so. Like, I definitely do think that probably did play a factor for some people, but I genuinely don't think Whitney. First of all, the she didn't perform as good as she usually did, or she has in the past. So I think that's an element. And two, I just don't think she has the same fan base as all the other people, honestly. And that's what it really boils down to. And I definitely do think she was able to kind of like skate by, coast by, that's the word, coast by a lot further probably because there are so many other people that people deemed were like not good enough, I guess you can say. But yeah, those are my personal opinions. I just genuinely don't think it was a good week for Whitney in terms of dancing, and I think that's why she went home.
Also agree with Kennedy. While I do think like it did play a factor in like I think it played a factor in like solidifying people's votes, but she did like mess up. Like she did have like a stumble or whatever, like little hop. Like if you see the videos, like I know like Derek was like, no, like she did, you can see like there is like a little, yeah, like it did happen. I do think her dances weren't as strong. Like even like watching them, I was like it's good, but it's not giving like semi-final like you want this energy, you know? Like you're fighting for it and everything. And I feel like overall, like a lot of these other stars, like celebs, had a lot more improvement. And I feel like, wow, like I'm not saying like she danced bad because like she never danced bad, but like she never had like that amount of improvement, I feel like personally. So yeah, I just feel like there was like better dances for the semifinals because again, like yes, you're voting on like their dances overall, but you're also focusing on like what they're presenting in that moment. And I feel like she just it wasn't as strong as the other people, like Kennedy said. I was shook though because I honestly, I for real thought like it would have been like Elena go home or like Dylan to go home. So I was shook that like people actually like pulled through somehow. But this is the perfect segue to the other show I have been watching, which is I finally done it, you guys. Secret Life of Mormon Wives. I binged it. I binged because that's actually crazy. I watched this in a week, basically. I watched season 1, 2, and 3 fully. Literally, like 10 minutes before we started recording, I told Kennedy, I was like, I have 10 minutes left. Let me finish this. And you guys, I am hooked. I am not one to like really like watch like reality TV as much as Kennedy does. Like I like get bored with it kind of. But no, this show, I was hooked from the moment I started watching. I can't believe it took me this long because I remember like when it got announced, the first like season got announced, and me and Kennedy, you know, like Mormon experts here, were like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. And I just never like actually watched it, but I regret not starting it sooner. And it's really crazy how they whip out these seasons because it's literally like almost like real time, I feel, because season 3, the most recent season, you see them get like selected to be on Dancing with the Stars, and now we're like finishing Dancing with the Stars, so it's like very like close to real time. And overall, I'm gonna give like my overall thoughts, kind of like focusing on season 3 more since that's the most recent one. And we can start off with Whitney. You guys, I am a Whitney hater. I am not going to lie. I feel like this show just solidified it for me. Like, I feel like she does have good intentions, but she goes about it the wrong way. As in, like, she does want to have like mom talk, like be united front and everything. And like, she talks about like all that. But then at the same time, I feel like she's just very hypocritical because she's like, I want to unite mom talk. And like, honestly, I doubted her little like, kumbaya moment, bringing the girls together, like hashing it out. But you know, it did work out. It did do its thing. But I'm like, she wanted that so bad. And she's like, I gotta save mom talk and everything. But at the same time, you're you're the one who's talking about mom talk just being a business and you wanting no relationship with these people. So I'm like, where are we go? Like, she's just very hypocritical, I feel like. And it just like, I don't know, sometimes she'd be talking and I'm like, Whitney, what are you not getting? Like, how are you not getting what the people are saying, you know? But she does have her moments, but through and through, I'm just a Whitney hater. I don't see her. I feel like I wouldn't vibe with her personally. And then my other like big thought is Demi actually insane. I feel like the little kumbaya moment where everybody's like owning up and like accepting like where they've gone wrong. I feel like she didn't own up to anything. She was just kind of like, yeah, like basically that's all. Like, I don't even remember what she said exactly. Like, it wasn't memorable for all the drama that she caused. And then for it to turn out, Kennedy was telling me that apparently like all like the Marciano, like the sexual assault stuff ended up being like not true. Yeah, that's a whole problem in and of itself. Just like her whole story, I feel like she tried to make herself the victim and like get out of the hole that she dug, but she just made the hole even deeper. And then my other thought is Taylor. Finally, about time she got rid of that Dakota man. Because what do you mean he lasted seasons 1, season 2, and season 3? Mind-boggling that he made it this far in the show. And also low-key, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of like, I am excited for her to be the next bachelorette, but I'm kind of like, are you ready for this? Because I know like time has passed, but at the same time I'm like, I feel like it hasn't been that long since all this happened. So I'm like, are you really like, is this like your rebound? That's crazy. Rebound's gonna be on national TV. But I am gonna be watching now more than ever because I need to see what happens. And then my last thought is Michaela and Macy are my favorites. I absolutely love them. And I love that we got to see both of them honestly like open up so much. Yeah, those are like kind of like my thoughts. I'll let Kennedy go and I'm sure I'll have something to bounce off of her.
Yes, Macy and Michaela, they've been like my favorites since season 1. And low-key, some new like favorites of this season for me that I'm like, wait, y'all are cool, are Miranda and Layla. Just because Layla in the past, she used to annoy me so much because she was very like Switzerland, or she would say she would do something, but then she would like back down. Like she would just be too scared. But like this year, she like seems like she's finally, found her voice, which I'm happy about. And I thought her hair episode was like just good for that to be seen on a public platform. And then again, I just love how Miranda just is speaking her mind, which I'm like, low-key is kind of ridiculous how wishy-washy they were. I'm like, oh, is she gonna be a mom talk? Which I get it, because at the end of the day, like, I get it, like, people cringe, like, mom talk, but, like, mom talk is a business. Like, brands want to see them together. They're paying for mom talk, so, like, they need to be together whether they like it or not. Hence why Whitney had to come over to the Coachella house, because I mean that's what the brand wanted. But at the same time, it's like, girl, y'all wouldn't have mom talk, like foundation of mom talk, without Miranda. So that was kind of crazy, but I really do like her because I feel like she's very level-headed, very reasonable. But to talk about Demi, it's crazy because like I feel like the census on social media is everyone loved her season 1, and then we just been seeing her downfall between season 2 and 3, and it's just been so sad to see. It's just like such a pretty girl with such an ugly soul and spirit, and it's just so sad to see because she's such like a victim, and like instead of taking accountability, she's just like, yeah, but he did this so extreme. Like the way she uses words like to an extreme because she knows like people can't really like back it because then you would look bad, such as claiming sexual assault, which Hulu / Disney or whatever, they did an investigation, they didn't find anything, like they didn't find anything that supported Demi's claims. And just even with the push shove thing with Chase, like she takes things that are this big, and instead of taking accountability of her role in those actions, she makes it this big. Thank you, Miranda, for that for that analogy. And yeah, and I, based on the season 3 reunion sneak peek, it seems like that kumbaya they had did not last, because it seems like Demi was still being a stake. So I'm excited to see what comes out in this reunion. And then for Whitney, I think genuinely it's interesting because I do feel like in real time, when season 2 came out, people actually like started coming around to Whitney. Like people hated Whitney season 1, but then people were kind of like being more empathetic to her on social media during season 2. When that came out, like in real time, But then we just kind of see her go back to kind of being the villain in season 3. And like Liz said, I do think she has good intentions, but I think she just so like she's so stuck in the victim mentality and mindset. And I think in a way, I don't know how to describe it, maybe like self-sabotage, but it's like she was like, I don't care about the friendship. This is a business. Okay, so then act that way. Stop trying to like I don't know, like stop being wishy washy because it's like you say you only want to be the business, but then I feel like you're still trying to like try to say like your friends and stuff. I don't know. It's just very confusing behavior. It's very hot and cold, and like girl, you just can't be leaving and then coming back when it's convenient to you. If it is a business to you, if that makes sense. Um, and yeah, I just think she wants the friendship so bad in a way that it's like, since it's not happening for her, she's like, well, I'm not going to be a part of it. But then when she sees them moving on without her, that's when she's like, wait, no, I do want to be a part of it. But then she uses it. But then when they don't like welcome her back, because like, why would you if you're acting so hot and cold? Then she's like, well, this is just a business anyways, blah blah blah. So I just feel like she just needs to like take accountability, which I feel like from what I remember she did a little bit, but it's like, girl, you have a lot of bridges to build.
Yes, Kennedy like put it all perfectly. I'm gonna go just off the Whitney things, and that's like the most recent. I'm like, feel like she has savior complex, honestly. Like she wants, like even in season like 1 or 2, whatever it was, where she was like the villain and everything, and she was like, I just want to save mom talk. Like it's going up. The amount of times I say mom talk's going up in flames. Like that is their go-to line. But like she wanted to save it so bad and everything, and I feel like it's the same thing that we're getting now. Like where she wanted to save it so bad, but I'm like, I don't understand. Like she wants to be a part of the business, but then she herself blurs the lines of like business and friendship, but she's the first one to say this is just a business. So I'm like, girl, honestly, go start your own mom talk, go do your own business, find you some other friends, because she's really quick to like turn on people and like be their enemies and everything, and just like go back and forth. And like I completely understand where the girls are coming from, where they're like, one moment you're in, one moment you're out. Like we literally ended season 2 with her getting voted back in, and then season 3 it starts and she's like not in anymore. You wanted so bad the whole season to be involved in mom talk, and then you finally get it, and then you're another foot out. Like obviously they're not gonna like be like quick to come to your side and like support you if you're just going back and forth whenever it's convenient for her, because it truly is whenever it's convenient for her. When she finds, when like she picks new friends, like it was convenient for her to be there and support Jen, but then as soon as Jen got it together, it was convenient for her to not talk to Jen and then becomes friends with me. Like I feel like she's the most wishy-washy. Like at the end of the day, all those like issues that she has with people, she's the common denominator. I don't know. That's like my thoughts on her. And I know like watch us start whatever the next season comes out. It's going to start with her like not wanting to be involved anymore when she wanted to save it so bad. Like make up your mind, please. Yeah. And I just thought it was like so weird when she just like came. Obviously, I know it was a business and like it was like pre the whole fallout and everything, when she came to Stagecoach just to film, but then she was salty that the girls weren't filming with her. Like you're treating it like a business, so they're gonna do it alone like a business, since you don't want the friendship aspect of it. And then my other thoughts is agree with everything KT said about Demi. Yeah, I haven't seen like the little sneak peek into the reunion, but I just know, I just like the whole way she went about the whole Marciano situation, like logically. And I'm so glad Whitney's husband was kind of like talking Whitney through of like, this isn't making sense, you know. I feel like he was kind of like, why are you still like trusting her? Just that whole thing, like the way she went about it just spoke like she's lying about this to me. And then the other thing that KT said, I really liked Miranda this season. Like season 2, I was a little like kind of like iffy about her, but I really liked it. I like that she stood the ground when she needed to. And like I like how we also saw like even though she had these problems with her ex, like she was still gonna defend him, because we all saw what happened. And like when she put Demi in her place about like the whole like shove, and even then I thought it was so obvious Demi was getting caught up in her own lies and everything. So yeah, I'm so glad about that. And then yeah, that's like my overall thoughts. Oh, another quick thought is I feel like Demi and her husband are so fake, because like the whole phone call that we got to see with like Brett and everything about him talking about the girls and like those aren't your friends. But then why are you going to Taylor's baby blessing, not blessing thing? Like you could have stayed home, sir. We've all, they've seen what you've said. Like I don't know, like a lot of these people, I'm like, y'all that's crazy. And I will be sad for the next season and the reunion because I know it is going to go down.
And one last thought is I am so glad that I'm not Mormon, because if I had to deal with some of these men, aka Jordan and Dakota, I would be sick to my stomach. We've already been talking for so long, but just know I hate them.
We could do a whole episode talking about them, you guys, because there is so much to talk about. But we're going to put a pause on it and we're going to go ahead and go on to our song of the week. I'll go ahead and do my song of the week because, again, we have completely different vibes, but I went with the Wicked theme and I haven't seen the new movie, but I did listen to the soundtrack a couple times. So I'm going to do For Good, and then this is my favorite part of the song. Into our lives for a reason. Like, that just sums up the whole movie.
That scene, yeah. I was listening to the soundtrack after we left the movies. I was like, I gotta listen to this now. It's just so good. And for my song, I am pulling from Maxton Hall. This was a song that was played during a party scene, and I really liked it. So here we go. Like, this song is so Maxton Hall and such a good, like, party scene song.
If one thing Maxton Hall is going to do right is they're going to do a fire party scene with a fire song to match the vibes. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into the topic of our episode, which is family drama holiday edition. You guys, these are going to be, obviously, as always, maybe jaw-dropping. We're going to have some thoughts, and this is holiday edition, so it's not necessarily like Christmas, but just the holiday time. And yeah, Kindy can go ahead and go on with her first story.
Yes, so we pulled from the Am I the A-hole subreddit. So my first one is actually about Christmas, and this one is, or no, it's not Christmas. It's about Thanksgiving. Guys, I'm a mess. I don't know why. And this is from the AITA subreddit. It was posted 1 year ago, and it's by the username Mary Menopause. And all the stories of these links, or all links to these stories, will be posted below. So the title of this is, Am I the A-hole for not wanting to host Christmas after the family stole all the Thanksgiving leftovers? My husband and I hosted the family for Thanksgiving. We made 2 turkeys, a ham, 20 pounds of mashed potatoes, 2 pans of dressing, sweet potato casserole, the full Thanksgiving menu. My in-laws always bring a ton of desserts, trays of cookies, pies, rolls, etc., which helps so much. We had a lovely evening, good food, good drink, good company. Later in the evening, when people were packing up to go, my husband had brought some plastic leftover containers for this moment and said, help yourselves to some leftovers. We then went back into the front room to continue socializing. I was pretty tired and put my feet up until it came to walk everyone out. I looked into the kitchen and saw that the food on the island and the table was put away and went to bed. The next morning, I woke up starving, dreaming of turkey, mashed potatoes, and gravy. I opened the fridge and stood there in shock. It was empty except for a bag of turkey wings and a half bag of dressing. I thought there had to be some mistake and went to check the fridge in the garage. Nothing there either. I sat in shock, trying to comprehend what had happened to all of that food. When my husband walked into the kitchen, I asked him if there had been some miscommunication. Did he offer the leftover food to a relative's charity organization? He said that he had not, but he had observed another relative in his entire family carrying out the food that they had brought, unopened dessert that the in-laws had brought, in addition to gallon Ziploc bags of the food that we had made. Did I mention I had made 20 pounds of mashed potatoes? It was a pleasure to make a meal for us to share together, and I welcomed a reasonable amount of leftovers, but to literally rob your host and take everything is out of bounds in my book. Now I don't want to host Christmas because of this greedy behavior. Am I the a-hole? And there is an edit, but I will say that later after we discuss a bit.
20 pounds of mashed potatoes is actually crazy. I'm like trying to wrap my head around how all that fit in the, like, how big of a container and how that fit in the oven. Because don't get me wrong, I love me some mashed potatoes, but 20 pounds I feel like sounds excessive. Yeah, I think overall the family definitely, like, they took advantage. They said she didn't, I will say, like, she didn't set any like limits, and like she wasn't there to like oversee, because I feel like normally, like, when you're there from experience, it kind of like people, I feel like, aren't as greedy to like when you're not in the room and they start packing everything up, you know. I wonder, I wish like if she would have put like, is it like one family took it? Like I know it's his family, but is it like his parents and like siblings, or like does everybody live together that took it? Because if everybody lives together that took it, that's actually wild that they might as well have just taken the containers, because to empty out the containers too. So I'm assuming it's like separate families from his side of the family that took it all. Um, I mean, I don't think she's overreacting, but I feel like she didn't set no limits to it, or like didn't oversee. So like you would think people aren't greedy, but I feel like unfortunately humans are super greedy, especially when they're not like no one's like watching over them. So I can see like why it went wrong. I don't think she's the a-hole, but I think some boundaries need to be set, and maybe like I definitely don't think that they should be the ones hosting Thanksgiving and Christmas, because like as we know, like the host always like does like the like bigger meals, like the meat and stuff, and like that can add up. So like maybe like get someone else to host Christmas. I don't know. Those are my thoughts.
Yeah, so in the story, she said it was a relative and his entire family that like the husband saw carrying out all this food. So I'm like, the husband didn't say nothing, but I guess if they're already carrying out the food, what can you say? Put it back. And in my opinion, like I would be mad too, because it's like I feel like it's common decency not to take all the food. Like you just totally just kind of what's the word, took advantage of the offer of like take as much as you want. Like think about, I'm assuming in my mind this is kind of like a big family gathering. So I'm like, there's other people that like want to eat and want leftovers. Like who's to say like because they greedy self took all the food, now there's no leftovers for literally any other family that was there or even the host himself. So I just think it's rude, honestly. But at the same time, I can like understand like you didn't say she didn't set any limits, but it's like it's just human decency not to take the food, especially like you didn't help make none of it, buy any of it. Like, come on, like have some human decency.
Do you think the husband should have said something, or at least like made a comment, like when they came back, been like, oh, like where's Arla? Like made some sort of comment so that like they would be embarrassed and like know that they took the food, So I feel like the husband could have like said something in the moment. Obviously not been like, hey, come back, but like something, yeah. I don't think she's the a-hole, but I don't think she should. I think that they just need to switch the family dynamic a bit.
Yeah, so now I'm gonna read the edit and some extra information and go into what the comments are saying. But the edit says, I've come back to say that I have had a day to think about it and a lot of really good advice from all of you. I agree that I should have stayed on the job a little longer and put food away for my family's meal the next day, and then either portion the leftovers out or let them have at it afterwards. I clocked out early and that's my own fault. Some said the intent was probably not malicious, that they may have taken my and my husband's disinterest in boxing the food up as a signal that we were done with it entirely. Others said it was a compliment to our cooking, that it was so tasty, that it became irresistible. A lot of you have been through something similar or worse, food removed from funerals and weddings, and you just made adjustments on how you handled things. I think that's what I will do too. Follow through and put up the part I want to keep before enjoying the festivities, and that way everyone has a good time and we get a second plate the next day. I may also host Christmas, but it will be more of a potluck situation. Thank you all for your advice, and even ones that said you're the a-hole. I like to think that I learned something. And honestly, this post does not have like a tag, like there's no overall vote, but the top comment says, do not host Christmas, just say, sorry, we spent so much on Thanksgiving, and when everyone took all the leftovers, leaving us nothing, I had to go out and buy food for us, which used up my food budget for the month. Merry Christmas. And then another person was saying like, you should name and shame them and like drop names, like if so-and-so wasn't greedy. Someone, and then there are some people that are like, why didn't your husband say anything when he saw them taking the food? And then yeah, there's honestly a lot of not the a-hole, but I do know there are some comments that are like, you should have done this, and this, kind of what she said in her edit. Like, you should have, put food away. But like, I don't know. I'm still on the wave of like, she shouldn't have to do that though in her own home. But I'm glad like she'll say like, yeah, I'll just take my own plate next time. But like, have common decency. And I think depending on like, if it's the husband relatives or her relatives, be like, hey, next time, don't be greedy.
Yeah, I think the husband should definitely talk to his family members. I don't think that they should be hosting Christmas at all, because I wonder also if it's like Okay, they did all the cooking. The in-laws brought like desserts. Did the other guests not bring anything at all? Because I feel like the way we do personally at my house is like it's like we're hosting Thanksgiving, so like we'll do like the meat and everything and like a side dish, but everybody else is bringing stuff, you know? Especially just I think if the family didn't bring anything, they definitely are greedy people, and I think the husband needs to say something or like, "Hey, like y'all should bring like something, you know?" But they should not be hosting Christmas. And I think that she did like I feel like the comment of like putting away some food or like just kind of like standing around because I feel like just the standing around, the people wouldn't have been as blatantly greedy about it. So I think it's definitely like the husband should talk to his family a bit.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, my vote is not the a hole. And husband, if it's his family, speak up.
Husbands need to speak up more in general. And then my story is also from the Am I the A-hole like subreddit thing. But it is titled Am I the A-hole for telling my mother-in-law off for expecting me to ditch my family for every single holiday? And this was posted 3 years ago from the user outside underscore share underscore excuse me 5439. Okay. I think that this is a like overall holiday Thanksgiving story, by the way. Okay, so here we go. My mother in law is quite possessive and controlling. She doesn't like me because I've taken her son away from her and all that, but she's never been honest either to me or my husband about her dislike towards me. She'll only throw some mass insults to my husband about me, but to my face, she's acting like an angel and she says how much she adores me and views me as her own daughter, etc. Behind my back, both her and my sister in law say the most horrible stuff. There's many horrible things she's done, but on this post, I'll focus on how she acts regarding us trying to balance time between families. Since the first years of my husband and I being together, mother in law always had the expectation that her and her family should be prioritized more than my family. In some cases, she spoke as if I had no family when my family is well and I have a great relationship with them. She always had demands that we spend every single holiday with them, and whenever we balanced things out between them and my family, she threw tantrums and constantly cried to my husband about how he abandons his dear mommy for his new family. At first, my husband felt bad for her, but then understood her theatrics, and anytime she throws a tantrum, he's telling her, like, it's not like he's telling her, and quotes, like it or not, that's what's going to happen. Go cry and I'll deal with it. We still try to be fair and balance holidays. Another example is how she demanded that during our wedding day, I should get dressed at her own house because I'm like her daughter and she deserved to see me getting ready more than my own parents did. When I chose to get ready at my parents' house, mother in law was mad and said I disrespected her and that I don't consider her family because I did that. So this year, my husband and I made the plan Thanksgiving lunch with his family, Thanksgiving dinner with mine, Christmas with his family, and New Year's with mine. Guess what? Mother in law didn't like that. After we were about to leave Thanksgiving lunch with her, she started making comments again about how we're picking my family over her and how she'll spend New Year's without us now too because we prefer my family more. Totally ignoring the fact that we'll spend Christmas with her. My husband even tried to accommodate her once and asked her if she'd prefer us to spend Christmas or New Year's with her until I told him no. She won't dictate our schedule enough. After she made that comment, my husband ignored her and was like, "Yeah, okay, you'll start crying again." And she started yelling at my husband about how he's picking me over her and my family over her. She started throwing insults about my family, and I couldn't hold myself but to talk back to her and tell her off for being a selfish person who expects the world to revolve around her and that she needs a wake up call and that she's not the only person in our lives. My husband told me to get in the car and go. On the ride home, he said that while I was right, I shouldn't have gotten involved and I should be the bigger person instead of acting like an a-hole like her. The end.
Girl, this is my worst fear to marry into a family like that. Like, that is a classic case of marrying into a mama's boy family. I just like, do you like your son is grown. He has a family. Like, what's gonna happen when him and OP, or when OP and her husband start having kids and they might want to do Christmas at their own house? Like, I just don't understand the need to like want everyone together. Like, your children have their own lives, and low-key it sounds like they are seeing like his side of the family more than like they see her side of the family. So I just don't understand why the mom is being so greedy. It's like, girl, you don't even like OP like that. Like, you and the sister-in-law be talking about her, which is just so weird. Like, I just genuinely cannot imagine sitting there like one day whenever my brother gets married, me and my mom talking bad about his wife. Like, that's just so weird. I just don't understand what mental illness this mother-in-law has.
No, because like Kennedy, this is my biggest fear, you guys. Yeah, like I think I'm glad. Honestly, I don't think that she's the a-hole. I think that she stood her ground as she should because it's like one thing would have been it was like the first time this happened, but like since the wedding day, these little instances of like pitting her against her own family have been happening. And I think that they have like a pretty solid schedule of like splitting like the holidays. I know like some people completely like do like one holiday at one house and another holiday at one house. But like even on Thanksgiving, like they were like visit both families, you know, like different times and everything. Because I feel like also like her family's being accommodating and probably like having their dinner like at a later time so that they can accommodate for like them going to both and everything. Like everyone is being accommodating but the mother-in-law. And I think that like OP obviously was like fed up when the mother-in-law started like trashing her family and everything. Like obviously like that's one thing we're not gonna do, you know. And if anything, I think that she should like be like, I don't want to spend holidays like at all with your family. Like, I wouldn't blame her if she said like, you can go, I'm gonna stay back, and you can come join like my family like later because like she's not feeling welcomed at all. So like, why should she spend a holiday when you're supposed to be like with people you love being miserable at the mother-in-law, like being two-faced to her. So yeah, I think that she stood her ground as she should. If anything, the mother-in-law has some issues, and I am glad that the husband does seem to like stick up to the mom too in his own way about like saying like you're just gonna cry about it, like you know, like that kind of thing. Because I feel like in these situations a lot of times what we see is like the mama's boy is like, you know, defending the mom only and not seeing the wife's POV. So I do think I did like that. I think he's gonna have to stand his ground a bit more. But yeah, I'm glad that they said like they're not gonna switch their like schedules and everything.
Yeah, me too. Like, you gotta set those boundaries in now, because if you just like lean into it, then she's just gonna continue being like, oh, like if I cry and do this, then like I'm gonna get my way. And it's like, girl, is Christmas like not enough for you? Like, you want Christmas and New Year's? Like, that's actually insane. And it's like, do you not think that OP's family like wants to see their daughter? Like, I just don't understand. And they're making the effort to split time. I'm like, she should be lucky, because some people, like, I know there's some couples who like genuinely just like go their separate ways over the holidays, and like that completely works for them. That's fine. I mean, that could easily be their arrangement, and but it's he's like, no, they want to spend the holidays together. So like, this is the compromise they're gonna make, and you just have to be happy with it. Just be glad like they want to be around. And honestly, if I was OP, I would be like, I don't want to spend the holidays with you anyway. If you want to have this attitude, like, girl, I would be going off. Honestly, good on OP for standing her ground, and good for the husband, like Liz said, to stick up, because usually like they don't say anything, and honestly, that shouldn't be applauded, because like that's the bare minimum. But yeah, I'll be interested to see how that went.
So I'm gonna read like two of the top comments on the thread because OP is very responsive to like everyone's comments. So the top two have like a response from OP, so I'll read that too. But the first comment is not the a-hole. Your husband is not in an easy place. He understandably cares about pleasing his mom, but ultimately you're in the right and it's fine for you to get involved because it clearly concerns you. And then OP responded, the main reason I got involved this time is because of straight insults she said about my family, what we were saying. Other times she's an angel in front of me and says horrible stuff behind my back or when she thinks I can't hear her. But now this was first time she straight up said very nasty stuff about my family. So yeah, I stand by what me and Kennedy said of like that was definitely like the tipping point. And then one of the other comments said, here it is. You didn't get quote unquote, you didn't get wait, hold on. It says you didn't get involved. She started insulting you and your family, and your husband expected you to just turn the other cheek. She crossed the line, and TBH in your shoes, I'd be considering whether I ever wanted to see her on the holidays, not the a-hole. And then OP responded, I don't want to see her, TBH. If it was just my decision, I'd never visit this woman again. I'm only doing this for my husband, who's doing this in order to also spend some family time with his dad and one of his siblings who's done nothing wrong. So, yeah, kind of like I feel like OP's kind of seeing what we're saying too, and the overall consensus is not the a-hole. I am curious, since this was like 3 years ago, if there's like any developments on the holiday front, you know?
Wonder where they spending Thanksgiving at this year.
No, because I feel like after a point you start hosting your own like with the kids and everything. So I think it'll definitely be interesting because it just like I feel like mother-in-law is probably the kind of person when the other like the mom is the other grandma's there, she probably like is hogging the kids and everything. Yeah, I feel bad for Opie.
Yeah, worst fear. Not I would not wish a bad mother-in-law on anyone except my enemies. But my next story is called Am I the A-hole for charging my sister's family to stay in my house during Christmas? This was posted a year ago in the AITA subreddit by Dr. Win Dilf. What an interesting name. So the story starts. I, 31 female, recently bought my dream home after working hard for over a decade. It's a beautiful 4-bedroom place with a huge backyard and a pool. I'm single and live alone, but I love the extra space and use the rooms as an office, a guest room, and a gym. Which, side note, I would do that too if I was 30 and single. My sister, 35 female, her husband, and their 3 kids, 7 male, 5 female, 3 male, asked if they could stay at my place for Christmas. They live out of state and wanted to spend the holidays with our family without paying for a hotel. Initially, I was okay with it until I remembered the absolute chaos they bring wherever they go. They stayed with me for a weekend last year and it was a disaster. The kids destroyed my sofa with markers and spilled juice on my rug, which I had to replace. My sister brushed it off, saying kids are kids, and didn't offer to pay for the damage. Her husband barely helped with cleaning or washing the kids. I felt like a maid in my own house. So this time I told her they could stay, but with conditions. I sent her a house guest agreement where they agreed to 1. Pay a $100 cleaning fee up front, 2. Cover any damages immediately, and 3. Pay $50 per night for utilities since heating and water costs spike in winter. I don't think this is unreasonable. I love my family, but I also want to protect my home and avoid unnecessary stress and a headache during the holidays. But she flipped out. She called me greedy and said I was treating my family like Airbnb guests. She argued that it's the holiday season and I'm ruining the spirit of giving. Our parents are siding with her, saying I'm being ridiculous and cold-hearted. I argued that this is my house and I'm not obligated to let them stay for free when I know they'll cause damage and stress, and I'm sure they can afford it since they just spent thousands on a Disney trip. I'm only asking for a fraction of what a hotel would cost. Now the family is divided. My sister says I'm the a-hole for prioritizing my money over family. I think I'm being fair by setting boundaries, but again, I've taken it too far. But maybe I've taken it too far. I don't know. Please help. Edit, for those who want to know, I spent at least $500 to replace my sofa and rug after the kids damaged them last time, and my sister didn't offer to help with the cost.
No, I don't think she's being the a-hole. Do I think like a little contract might be excessive? In the moment, maybe, but like no, not at all. Like she's just protecting her assets because like being a woman, having a 4-bedroom house with a pool on her own, like that is like some kudos in and of itself, you know. Like okay, like financially stable, but yeah, especially with her like history with them having stayed and them like destroying her couch and her rug. Hell no, absolutely no. Honestly, I'm surprised that she wasn't like straight up like, no, like you can't stay because you guys like ruined this and this and this and this. Like she has the receipts for it. It's not like unwarranted, you know? So I don't think she's being the a-hole. If anything, they can go stay with her parents, like make room. Like if you want to stay somewhere for free, I think that you shouldn't necessarily be comfortable in the sense of like having their own room, the kids having their own room. Like y'all can fit in one room, like make it work at your parents' house or something. Because the parents, from what it sounds, are the ones that are like having Christmas at their place. So like you're gonna be there anyway. So you think it'd be more easier for you to just stay there. I don't think she's being unreasonable at all because yeah, like you can't let yourself get taken advantage of, especially with family, because I feel like it's so easy to blur the lines with family and like be like, oh, like it's just family, like let anything slide. But if they have already ruined your house and everything, like your couch, yeah, kids aren't gonna. People who just say kids are gonna be kids, they need to get some whooping in them.
That part, and I feel like there's a reason why the parents are offering their house, because they probably know them kids are wild. And I agree with what Liz said. Like, if you want to stay somewhere for free, don't be expecting all this hoopla. I mean, you're gonna get the couch, a bed, or something. Y'all not all about to get separate spaces if we don't have the space, because I mean, it's free. It's better than paying however much for a hotel or Airbnb. And I totally agree with Liz. Like, I do think the contract is a little bit excessive. I do think some type of contract quote unquote, would be good. Some type of agreement, like, hey, like, pay for this, or like, just know that I will be invoicing you if damages are happening. Because like obviously them kids aren't being parented. And I do like think sometimes family, it can be a little iffy, like Liz said, where lines get crossed. Because I feel like sometimes family, they think, oh, like your family, we can act any sort of way, but it's like you still need to respect her home at the end of the day. Like she worked her butt off for this home, and y'all aren't just about to come in here tearing it up. Like if you, and couches and rugs for some nice ones is not cheap. So I would be so mad. And yeah, I definitely do not think she's the a-hole. Again, this subreddit or like this post doesn't have a overall vote, but I personally like agree that like she's not the a-hole. I don't think she's gone too far, and they should stay at the parents' house, so maybe the parents will understand where she's coming from.
I also like the fact, like, I feel like even when you're with family, you still need to pick up your slack. Like, the fact that the husband, like, did no cleaning, like, didn't even parent the kids, that's why they're over here destroying couches. Like, no, like, we're not gonna do that anymore. And honestly, like, I feel like having a family, like, you should know it's gonna be like pricey. Like, you might have to travel and stuff and like pay for hotels and things like that. So I feel like they're just trying to like be cheap because they went on this Disney trip. So that's not an excuse though.
I agree. And then the top comment on this post is not the a-hole, but it'd just be better if you said no. Regardless of how much money you charge, the kids probably won't be any better behaved. The husband won't be any less lazy, and neither of them will be better parents. You'll be on the edge the whole time, and they'll be resentful. They may even see payment of fees as giving them a free pass to be slobs. Better for them to stay with your parents or anyone else who is on their side. Put your money, inner peace, and sanity where your mouth is, folks. And you can enjoy your nice, clean, undamaged home. And yeah, everyone is like has the same sentiment, and that like $50 a night plus 100 for cleaning is nothing compared to what they'd pay for an actual Airbnb. And people are just trying to say like stick to your ground. Now there is like two different updates I have for you guys. So there is an update OP posted in the comments, and then they actually made a actual update post. So I'll read that. So the first update comment says, so I talked to my sister again about the charges after the initial conversation where I laid out my conditions. I even offered to remove them if they cleaned up their mess, but she said no and insisted I should experience her life and deal with things the way she does. I did say no at first, but she kept insisting. I decided to stand firm though. She said she'd never come back if I charged them, but I told her that if they want to stay, they need to take responsibility for the damage. She kept saying no because she wanted a fun vacation without having to worry about cleaning like she does at home. So I guess they won't be coming. It's frustrating because I thought this was a fair compromise. I keep wondering if I should stand firm on my boundaries or let it go to keep the peace, but I know standing firm is probably right. But man, this doesn't feel good. Thanks to everyone for your advice and a few cruel words. And I thought the comment replying to this, I'm not going to say all of it because of language, was funny, but it says, I'm sorry, she doesn't want to have to worry about cleaning after her own kids because she wants a fun vacation. There would be absolutely no way she would cross my doorstep if this is the attitude she takes to staying in my home. What about your vacation, your peace and quiet, your enjoyment of the home you work hard on to maintain? Tell her no, and if anyone else has anything to say about it, tell them they can host her and her, they said her kids and her husband, but in some colorful ways that I won't be repeating. And then, oh wait, so actually the update post and that comment were the same thing. She just put it in the same post. So yeah, that's the update. Like the sister is being stubborn, and I'm glad OP's still on business.
No, because oh hell no. After that update, no, okay, you're right. Don't stay here. You don't need to stay here. Because what do you mean you want a fun vacation and not clean after your kids? Why do you have kids then? Why'd you have kids? They're an 18-year commitment. You should have known. Or like go on like a little husband wife trip, leave the kids with a nanny or something. But like no, like you still got to be a parent. You don't get a break from being a parent just because it's the holiday season. And no, they can go fit somewhere else. Like sucks to be you, because you're gonna have to clean anyway. Like even if you're at a hotel, you don't destroy the hotel room, like her reasoning makes no sense. I'm so mad for OP.
Honestly, her family probably is the type to trash the hotel room and be like, oh, the maids will figure it out. But yeah, I always be the same way. Like, okay, well, I guess you're not coming. I feel like the sister probably has like a feeling like, oh, she's probably gonna fold. But like, no, OP standing on business, and I love that.
That's exactly the sister's thought process that I'm thinking. And then my next story is also from the same subreddit and everything, the Am I the A-hole one, but it is titled, it was posted 4 years ago by, oh, it doesn't say the user's name. It just says, or maybe their username is deleted. I'm a little confused. But anyways, my title is, Am I the A-hole for refusing to go to my husband's family's Thanksgiving unless mother-in-law comes to meet our baby ahead of time and then canceling when she agreed to meet him? And the story goes, my husband and I welcomed our first child, March. Oh, is that? I'm sorry. I think the kid's name is March, you guys. We had a no visitors rule for the first 3 weeks, but from then on, mother in law had an open invite to come over and meet him. She was directly invited a couple of times and declined with various non pressing excuses, such as a dinner reservation or a headache. It didn't feel right to beg her, so she was only directly invited about 3 times, but we have told her she can come whenever she would like to meet him. Mother-in-law lives 25 minutes away, has a car, and has plenty of time to go out with her friends. Mother-in-law and I have never gotten along, but to me it's crazy that she doesn't want to meet her grandson. My mom would live at our house if she could. We always do Thanksgiving with my husband's side and Christmas and Easter with mine. Thanksgiving is at mother-in-law's, dad's, and stepmom's house. I like her stepmom a lot, and I like multiple people who are going, but I feel extremely uncomfortable with mother-in-law snubbing a literal baby for so long. I don't think it's appropriate for a holiday to be her first time meeting her grandson, and I don't want to go in with anxiety and then have a bad feeling if mother-in-law chooses to ignore her. I told my husband that I don't want to go to this year unless mother-in-law meets him ahead of time. My husband thinks this is dramatic because it isn't even her house. He also feels that I am being unfair due to it being the only holiday he spends with his family. He texted mother-in-law and laid out my concern. She said she didn't want any drama at Thanksgiving, so no worries. He said I still wanted her to have met the baby going into the holiday. Mother-in-law replied we should have given her more notice and she's really busy. I really don't see how she is that busy. She works, but she has no kids at home, pays someone to clean her house, no real responsibilities outside of her job. My husband said she had a little over a week and it shouldn't be an issue. Mother-in-law asked if she could bring her husband. I don't have an issue with her husband, but it seemed weird to me that she was acting like she needed support and like it was something she really didn't want to do. I said if she has that attitude, she doesn't need to come, and mother-in-law said okay. I then told my husband that I don't want to go due to her behavior. My husband is very annoyed and feels like I am punishing him and the rest of his family for this. He says I'm overreacting and should just ignore her, that technically I'm the one who canceled on her. I don't want to be a dick to my husband, but something about her behavior is very off-putting to me.
Wow. Dump your husband. JK, don't dump your husband, but he sucks too. This mother-in-law is very, very, very weird. Why wouldn't you want to see your grandchild? That's very weird that she's like, oh, I have a headache. I can't come. I feel like as a grandmother, it's like, no matter how you're feeling, like, your child just had a child. Like, you're gonna want to see that child. And I think it's weird that she also wants the boyfriend to come. Like, girl, why do you need support? And I can understand where OP's coming from. I would not want my like mother-in-law to like see the baby for the first time at a holiday, because I feel like the holidays, where everyone comes together, even the extended family, so like people you're not as close with like might see the baby for the first time. But like, if you're a grandparent, I feel like that should be its own special moment, you know what I mean, to see the grandbaby for the first time. So I think it's very weird that like she's too busy to see your own grandchild. Like, do you even care that you have a grandchild? Like, just say that. I wonder if this is another mama's boy type situation. And she's like low-key in love with her son or something. And she's upset that he has a baby and that she's stuck with sister-in-law. But I'm just like, the way that she's acting is so weird. And I hate that the husband's like getting on OP for it, but it's like, no, talk to your mom. Why is she acting weird? Like, this, like, mother-in-law's behavior is a perfect example, taking an issue literally this small and making it this big. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I'm also very confused why the mother-in-law hasn't wanted to see the baby, because I feel like typically like for the grandparents that's like so exciting, and they're like at the hospital like waiting for you to like say you can come in, and then they're there. They're ready. Like not even like 1 minute they'll be there. So I feel like it's very odd for her not to want to meet the baby. So it's kind of what it Thanksgiving. I don't think like the 3 week rule was anything crazy. I think that's like very normal nowadays, especially just because like the babies, it's very easy for them to get sick those like first couple weeks. So I think that that's very normal. So if she's like mad about that, I don't know. Like that makes no sense to me. Yeah, I don't know. Like, why don't you want to meet your own grandchild? And I could see like I don't think OP's being over dramatic at all. I think that like Kennedy said, it's just like not the time for her to meet the grandkid for the first time, it being like a big family gathering and everything. And I think the husband needs to like stand their ground a little bit more with their mom, of like, why don't you want to see this kid? Like, let's get to the bottom of this type. There is no overall like vote on this, but the comments are very interesting because I feel like they're kind of like all over the place in the sense of a lot of people are saying like you're the a-hole low key from what I'm seeing on here. So it's very interesting. So I'll read a couple of them for you guys, but I'll just like read some like bits and pieces. Someone said you're being completely over dramatic. Your husband isn't even reacting that badly to his own mother not coming over and meeting the baby. You don't understand why she would need support because you've admitted you two don't get along and you're acting hostile. You should check your own behavior before you complain about hers. I don't think OP is being hostile at all. I think she's just being protective over her own kid, like rightfully so. And then another comment is, you're the a-hole. Just go to Thanksgiving and let your husband and the relatives visit with you guys. If mother-in-law is standoffish, so what? Her loss. Someone else said, you're the a-hole. I agree with your husband that you're being overly dramatic about this. Your mother-in-law sounds like a pain, but it's not inappropriate for someone to meet a grandchild for the first time at Thanksgiving. It sounds like you really don't like her and you're upset that she didn't come over and meet her grandson, which is understandable. I would be too. And you're trying to get back to her for that. You're being a dick to your husband right now. I feel like these comments, I don't know if I like completely agree with them because I feel like she's not being at all hostile, like I said. And I don't think she's being dramatic at all. I feel like she's kind of like being protective of the baby and like protecting the baby from like what could be a blowout at Thanksgiving just because like they haven't met.
Yeah, I can see other people's perspectives if we don't agree, but this one I really don't see it. I definitely do think there probably is something I that Liz brought up where like I think it probably stems from the 3 week thing because I feel like back then probably when mother-in-law was growing up that probably wasn't a thing, like everyone just came over wanted to see the baby, blah blah, but like no, like people are now setting boundaries. They're like, don't see me, because not only like can the baby get sick, but as a woman I can imagine after going through birth and all that, it's like I really don't want to see people. Like I feel my worst right now and I just want to live in like this newborn bliss. So I wouldn't be surprised if mother-in-law is like mad about that and just being like, well then I won't see the baby, like just having that attitude. But yeah, it's just like, girl, all you're doing is hurting yourself at the end of the day. Her as in the mother-in-law, like you're the one delaying this relationship with your grandson, and like you're probably not really gonna grow up with him, seeing him that much, if you don't like get rid of like these petty grievances you have with OP. I just think it's very immature and like, girl, get over it. It's your grandson.
What Kenny said. I think mother-in-law is just super petty, and it's sounding like this is just like a common theme in the relationship between them. And honestly, it like Kenny said, it's no one's loss. Like it's not hurting anyone but the mother-in-law. Like the baby has a grandmother that loves him just the same. Like it's really just you that's at a loss here. But anyways, those are our Am I the A-hole holiday edition family drama stories. Yeah, so we'll see you guys next week. Make sure you guys are following all of our socials, liking, commenting on whatever platform it is you are watching. 5-star ratings are appreciated. And happy Thanksgiving for you guys. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.